Hello listeners and welcome to another week of Chasm Converses. A special treat for you this week, as the guest I have this week is none other than Hjálmar, otherwise known as professional wrestler Einar the Strange. We talk about in-ring work, winning titles, and take a dive into his acting career and discuss some of the locations an actor can sometimes find themselves in. Let's get conversing. Chasm Converses.
Okay, H is fine.
Anyway, man, I'm really keen to talk to you about a bunch of things today.
Yep.
Obviously, pro wrestler, actor, so much that you've done, so much going on. I actually found out just the other day that for professional wrestling, you're going on around your 8th or so year now as a pro wrestler.
Yeah-ish.
It's around like 2017, 2016 or something.
I debuted in April in 2016, so I guess coming up on 7 years.
7 years, yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Cool.
Started training in late 2015.
Yeah, right. Yeah. How does it sort of feel knowing that you've been doing this sort of thing for 7 years, especially since it wasn't like a massive thing in your life previously?
It's weird. I don't think I've ever, in my adult life, committed to anything for this long, you know? Even acting school was only 3 years.
Okay.
Well, that was full time.
Yes, absolutely.
Wrestling is kind of full time at times as well, you know. But yeah, it is. And I honestly have, until probably like 2022, I've spent most of that time just feeling like a rookie. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, okay.
And then all of a sudden, I'm like in this spot where I'm completely comfortable because I have matches every other weekend, and I do feel like a bit of a vet now, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's brilliant, man. Yeah. And obviously, at the moment, you're with RCW, which is awesome. And you're part of the stable Purgatory, which is just basically has all eyes on it at the moment. And even the story of how that all came together, obviously, I've just seen it play out throughout the shows and the matches that brought it together. But it's such an awesome story. And I would definitely say to anyone who's listening to this to go on YouTube and watch some of the former RCW shows of 2022 to see how this stable formed together. Can you give us a bit like of an insight of how that sort of all came together, especially with you and Baron having like hardcore matches before you guys ended up becoming a team in a way?
Yeah, I mean, the idea going in was Einar came to RCW trying to recruit Baron and Amber to be on his side. And they kind of were like, nah. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to fight you until you realize that you should be on my side.
Yeah.
And that's basically what happened. So Baron and I had a couple of epic matches, one of them being the first ever horror show match.
Yes.
In RCW, and that was a brutal affair. And then it was after that match that Baron and Amber were like, yeah, let's get on board with Einar the Strange.
Yeah,
so,
that's brilliant.
And then thus Purgatory was formed.
Absolutely, that's awesome. I really love the story of how it all sort of came together. I mean, the match that I think is probably still my favourite one that you guys have all been in together, well, I guess Amber made an appearance in the match, was the ladder match with the Bradys and Boomer and Sabbath. That was just next level for like a local wrestling show. I watched it on YouTube maybe about 4 times.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Never gets old. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. How do you feel even going into that match and being involved in it? Because there was just carnage all over the place.
It was interesting because like I just mentioned that like Baron and I had the first time horror show match at RCW. Well, the ladder match was the first ever as well. It was the first ever Chaos Collider match, which was a ladder match where a member from all 3 teams starts in the ring, and then every 3 minutes, a member of one of the teams comes out, and you can't actually climb the ladder and win the match until your partner is out there.
Yeah, both.
So that gives the advantage, obviously, to like the team that comes out first.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So that was really cool. As a first time match, yeah, there's some things that you'd have to probably adjust for future matches in that. But I think we did a decent job, and the crowd was really into it, and it was just a lot of fun. I love gimmick matches like that.
Yeah.
Because I just think they're like I said, lots of fun.
That's awesome. And obviously, former RCW Tag Team Champion. I don't know if I'm going to get this right or not, but it was, the first ever Icelandic wrestling sort of champion?
Yeah, well, because my background is Icelandic. I'm 50% Australian, 50% Icelandic.
Yes.
I have citizenships of both countries. So it's always been this thing of, like, I've looked into the legacy of pro wrestling in Iceland, and from what I've found, there is none. And I've tried to look deep, because I don't want to be going out there making claims that I'm the only Icelandic wrestler ever. But it seems that that's the way, because I haven't been able to find anything.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's still the case, but everything I've Googled, I'd never found anything, so I could only assume that, I was the first Icelandic person to win a title in professional wrestling. I was possibly, I don't know, if I'm possibly the first and only wrestler there's been. If there's been other Icelandic wrestlers, I'd love to know.
Yeah, me too. I honestly don't know either, but that's so cool. That's something that you've basically attained, and until further notice, I guess. But even so, that's brilliant.
The thing about Iceland is, when I lived over there, being a massive wrestling fan, there were really not many people at all that cared about wrestling at all.
Yeah.
It's just not really a thing that exists in Iceland. Yeah. There are some people that will be like, oh yeah, John Cena. But it was just kind of me being like, wrestling. Yeah. And then, because I literally left Iceland to come to Adelaide to train to be a wrestler, because it's not a thing there.
That's brilliant. So, that's really very, very committed, especially to go to Adelaide in Australia rather than going to, like, maybe England or somewhere that's probably closer to Iceland than what Australia is.
I did think about it, but at the time I was just kind of thinking of, Adelaide's so easy to live in. It's got to be time and money to do it, and it just seemed like the sort of most safe option was to come back to Adelaide to do it.
Absolutely. That's good, man. And, like, who were your influences, I guess, growing up while watching wrestling, seeing as it wasn't a big thing over there? Like, who sort of inspires you, maybe with the character that you do, or with the move set that you have and the moves that you inflict on others?
Well, I don't think anyone that I looked up to back in the day really influences me that much, like, as far as my moveset and that goes. Yeah. Because I grew up idolizing Stone Cold and The Rock and, the biggest stars of the Attitude Era, basically. So, they influenced me in regards to, watching how they sell and just the electricity that they bring, because no one did it better than The Rock and Austin,
Absolutely.
But one of the guys who, like, immediately I was like, wow, because he was otherworldly, because, in wrestling there's wrestlers and then there's, like, gimmicks and characters. It was Kane. Kane, there was just an episode of Raw I was watching, and I wasn't sure what was going on. The Undertaker was attacking Stone Cold in a cage, and then all of a sudden the lights went out and this monster just walked to the ring and did this thing with his arms, and the cage set on fire, and I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing. So I always sort of gravitated towards darker, more like monster characters.
Absolutely.
I guess, being a fan of horror, that makes complete sense.
Yes, absolutely. That's great.
But my biggest influence, as far as the way that I like wrestling and everything is Bray Wyatt. Because I just think he's the most amazing mind in professional wrestling, a storyteller that I've seen probably ever.
He's brilliant. I always loved watching Bray Wyatt through, obviously, his real first sort of starting off, like, coming up with, like, Nexus and stuff, to then really branching into his own sort of character with the fedora and everything like that. It was something that I had never seen in wrestling.
And always reinventing, being original, and being believable in these gimmicks as well. That was the big thing, because obviously coming from an acting background, I want everything that I do to come across as authentic.
Absolutely.
And the storytelling to be good, and I just don't think anyone does it better than him.
He's incredible at what he does, and I personally can definitely see a lot of his kind of aura that shines through in the stuff that you do. When it comes to the wrestling, obviously the acting as well, that we'll touch on maybe a bit later, have you had like a lot of opportunities to kind of travel with your wrestling or with your acting? Because obviously fighting and wrestling for different promotions or acting in different locations and sets, has it sort of been a thing where you've been able to travel the world or travel interstate and that sort of thing with the two things that you do?
Yeah, definitely. The first time I ever wrestled outside of Adelaide was in London in 2018 because of the whole me being the only Icelandic wrestler in the world thing.
Yes.
I kind of got the booking by default, it would seem, because I was in Iceland.
Yes.
Well, I was going to be in Iceland around the time of the World Cup in 2018, and Progress, who is like one of the biggest, if not the biggest company in England, sent out a tweet saying, we're doing a World Cup themed show. Any Icelandic wrestlers, like, hit us up. And then someone tagged me, and I was the only one. And I contacted them, and they were like, "Oh, where are you?" And I was in Australia at the time, and they were like, it's a bit far for us to fly you. And I was like, "Oh, no, don't worry, I'm going to be in Iceland," because I was planning to be there for the World Cup.
That's brilliant.
And so they flew me over to London, and it was a really, really cool experience. It was terrifying though.
Yeah.
Up to that point, I'd had maybe a year's worth of in-ring experience.
Okay.
And I had asked everyone else that was wrestling there that night, like, how long they'd been wrestling for, and the guy who'd done the least amount of wrestling, compared to me, had been wrestling for 7 years.
Oh my God.
Which is the spot that I'm in now.
Yeah,
you know
holy
what I mean?
shit. Yeah, wow.
So I was like 1 year in, and
bloody hell.
I was in this foreign country and like have no idea how they're going to receive me. And the English fans are amazing, so they were so cool to me. They cheered me on, and it was really great. A great experience. But again, terrifying, and it really makes you think about what you need to do to become better as a wrestler.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because it was my first time real experience of just rocking up to a venue and just having to plan a match.
Yeah, okay.
With a couple of hours before.
Straight away.
Yeah. So that was a big lesson learned.
Yeah, geez.
About just knowing your own stuff and.
I guess sort of also maybe studying your opponent as well and knowing their stuff in case you
I definitely did that a little bit, and then like he kind of was like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, well." And then your mind goes blank, and you go, "Well, I do this move and this move," but like, that's when you start thinking of like, I've got to think of like, not just moves, but like sequences and stuff.
Yeah, true.
Because then you could put one of your sequences, one of their sequences, and just make it all work. Yeah, it was a big eye opener for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know that I was around in London around the World Cup time itself, so I don't know if it was around the same time that happened as I was up there, but I do remember obviously seeing a lot of the posts and stuff of you being up there wrestling in that, and I was just overwhelmed. Just like, wow, this is brilliant that he's gone straight up there, especially because, as you said, you're about a year in to what you were doing, and just straight up into London into Progress.
It's the weird thing about wrestling, man. Like you can just get opportunities out of nowhere for the dumbest reasons as well. Like if you're just like what they're looking for, what they need at the time, then like you get an opportunity.
It's very similar in the acting sense as well. Like if you match the portfolio of what someone's looking for, they get you out of a crowd of heaps of people. Yeah, that's awesome. Sure. It's brilliant. As well as that, obviously I'd love to touch on the acting and that sort of stuff as well, because you've done heaps of that sort of stuff. You've been involved in the Warpath Chronicles and like multiple short films, that sort of thing, working with Fury Fingers, I think it was. How was all that sort of stuff going, and whereabouts did you sort of shoot all that kind of stuff?
Kaipo Forest.
Everyone
shoots everything in South Australia. It's
a big forest here in South Australia. I shot a music video here.
As well. Any time you need an cool outdoor setting, everyone goes to Kaipo Forest. But with Warpath was cool because while some of it was filmed around Kaipo and that, the creator Aaron, he and director as well, he scouted basically all of South Australia, because he wanted to be a sort of showcase for South Australia, and found all these amazing locations that looked like they could be anywhere in any sort of world.
Okay.
So, a lot of the time South Australia looks very Australian.
Yes, very true.
And there was a thing for him about making sure it doesn't always look like it's just South Australia.
Yeah, okay.
But then having people watch it and go, wow, where is that?
Yeah.
And then people would go, it's South Australia, and go, oh my God, I didn't even know that you could find a place that looked like that.
That's what I thought. I didn't think it was even shot here. I was like, maybe they went into state or something to do that. But
yeah, there's a lot of really amazing locations, especially up in the hills.
Okay, cool.
Because the hills are beautiful. I shot one day just in this nowhere, just off the road, this windy road in the hill, where it was this really, I don't know why it was there, but it was this big bridge that looked like it should have been in England or something like that. Oh, wow, really? Like this big stone bridge that was maybe like 50 meters across.
Wow.
And it was just incredible. I'm like, why is this here?
I wonder how many people know that it's here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What's like the strangest place, I guess, you've shot in before?
We also shot in a very tight cave up in the Riverland. That was an interesting shoot because I had to be walking through the cave with a lit torch, like a stick with a rag on it and a flame. Okay. And to keep that alight, we were like using kerosene or whatever. So it would stink out the whole cave and make it really hard to breathe.
Oh wow, yeah, it's already very congested in there.
So that was a super interesting location. Because we were like, let's check it out. And we were going down into the cave, and it gets narrow and narrow and dark, and you're just like, at some point, you're like, nope.
That'd be very creepy.
Yeah.
Like basically the closer you get into it, like the claustrophobia, I bet, would just set in.
Yeah.
Especially if you're surrounded by a bunch of other people and like cameras and lights and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, good Lord.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome, man. It's so cool that you just do so much different things and just. Yeah. I'm really keen. Did Warpath? Because that was like a YouTube thing, wasn't it? It's
still not out. It's been a long time.
Right. Yeah. Because I'm waiting for
many years. It's been a lot of. It's coming out soon.
Oh, thank God.
I've been hearing that for years.
Yeah, no joke.
So I hope at some point it comes out.
Yeah, I saw the screenshots every now and then. I think.
Oh yeah, it looks
that popped up, and I was like,
everything I've seen of it so far, it looks really cool, and I'm excited. I don't know what I'm not involved in the behind the scenes, so I don't know why it's taking so long to come out. But I'm sure they have their reasons and everything like that. So
yeah, absolutely.
I reckon that's gonna be super cool when that comes out finally, and just it's a big show.
Yeah,
it's a big for a non-funded undertaking. It's huge. Like I don't think anyone's ever done anything like this in Australia.
Yeah,
because it's like 11 episodes.
Oh wow!
Like 40-minute episodes or something like that.
Wow.
Usually people will get a ton of funding for like a 10-minute short film.
Yeah, right.
Whereas this is completely sort of self-funded by the director.
Oh wow, really? That's very impressive.
And got an amazing cinematographer, so it all looks great, and just a lot of people that just believed in it because the script was really good. That's why I signed up for it. I was like, the script is great, and
that's brilliant.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that to come out.
That's so cool, man.
Whenever.
Yeah. Eventually, we're waiting for a while, but
at some point, it's just going to drop. I'm going to forget all about it and be like,
It'll give you just that burst, like it'll make your day straight away when it comes out, and then I know it depends on how long then it takes you to watch all the episodes, or if you just go through the whole thing, or like section by section.
I think the idea was for it to be on a streaming platform.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
I'm assuming you'd just be able to binge it if you wanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Giving me ideas. I'll touch back on the wrestling because there was something I did want to bring up with you. And I'll also let the listeners know that myself and Hage did wrestle for Wrestle Rampage back in the day. For not as long, obviously. But actually, I was looking up the cage match statistics Funnily enough, I'm not on there, but that is fine because
Really?
I think I had about 5 matches.
All right.
Unless they pronounce Kazma and Crow wrong, which there's a possibility that could happen. But I was interested with yours because it had on there 55 matches apparently, 29 wins, 25 losses, and 1 draw, which I was not too... I had no idea what the draw was.
The draw was the first match I had against Baron.
Oh, right.
So every match that anyone had ever had against Baron, they basically got destroyed by Baron.
Right, okay.
With the exception of, I think, the match against the family where they all piled on top of him and he couldn't get out. So we fought to a draw in that one and the ref called off the match.
right.
So that was the draw.
Wow, okay, yeah, that just... Absolutely. And like throughout, I mean, obviously, I'm expecting these are all the matches that you've had.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's everything I've ever wrestled.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I've been keeping an eye on it since I've been at Riot City because, what was it,
55 apparently altogether.
So, and I looked this up. As far as cage match goes, it said that I'd wrestled like maybe just under or just over 20 matches in my like 5 years or whatever at Rampage.
Okay.
And like last year I wrestled 30, you know,
Oh, wow.
30 odd.
Yeah, jeez.
Or more than 30.
Yeah.
Something like that, which was awesome. That's why I said earlier, like I feel like more of a veteran now because that's almost wrestling. That's wrestling more than twice a fortnight.
Yeah, just so many consistent matches, getting the reps in and all the rest of it.
So and there's also all different sort of places that we wrestle and everything like that.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
It's not just like our main shows. We do all these other little cool events where you get to wrestle, 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Or like 5 times in the space of 2 days or something like that.
Yeah.
Like going to Beer and Barbecue Fest or
that's always a good festival.
The Punk Rock Riot gigs at the Uni Bar, and so we would refer to them as kind of like house shows.
Yeah,
you know
okay.
what I mean? So that's why I said earlier that like those win-loss statistics can be very misleading.
Yes,
because on shows like that, you tend to good guys always.
Yeah, sort of go over the top.
I'm a bad guy, so
not going to be very much in your favour, I suppose.
No. So you just kind of take the L's in a lot of those like house shows, but a win-loss record as far as shows goes is I think pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
But it's cool that there's this database of just all statistics.
Yeah, I was so cool. I was very happy when I saw it because I had to do a bit of research and that sort of thing. And yeah, when it came up, I was like, oh shit.
I'm not sure who puts it in there. I think it's one of the guys that does commentary at RC Dub.
Oh wow!
But he does it quick because when I won the ACW Evolve Championship,
that was there. Yeah,
I went on the next morning just to be like, what if it's updated? And it was.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, that's quick.
Damn, yeah, wow. They don't mess around.
No.
They got to get those statistics in there right now.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I would say, with obviously the amount of matches and that sort of stuff that you have wrestled in the training and stuff as well, obviously, we can both agree wrestling is obviously not a walk in the park and definitely takes a toll on the body and that sort of thing. How, have you sort of gone with sort of coping with injuries and sort of recuperating from sort of being out for a bit of time and that sort of stuff, especially from the Rampage days to the Riot days, because maybe they're a bit different, or maybe they may not be similar. But yeah, how do you sort of get around the injuries and sort of rehabilitate yourself heading into matches?
It's funny because now that I'm at Riot City and I wrestle more often, I should be hurting more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I'm hurting way less than I used to because I'm taking wrestling. I've always taken wrestling serious, but I just get so much more opportunity at Riot City that I always have to be ready.
Yeah,
I always
absolutely.
have to be on top. So I'm always trying. If I get any sort of little injuries, I'm always trying to recover because I am a lot more experienced now and I've been in it for a while.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons I'm in better shape now because I know how to deal with all that. Like, I don't knock my training at Rampage at all. Like, it set me up perfectly for when I made the switch to Riot City because the fundamentals I got there were tremendous.
Absolutely.
And Yeah.
That's awesome, man. And you are, I think, probably in the best shape that you've been in for a long time because, I see when you do the trainings and that sort of stuff and you've got your programs that you do and, man, you're just looking absolutely massive and jacked. And when you come out to the ring with Baron, you're both just, obviously, Baron, for those who don't know, Baron is about, 7 foot tall? He's a very big boy, massive. And then you're beside him, obviously much shorter because who's much bigger than Baron?
Yeah, my back's bigger than his.
Yeah.
That's another thing as well with since I've moved to Riot, there's this really nice, healthy sort of competition with everyone wanting to get each other in shape, and like a lot of us work out together all the time. And,
I've seen that.
We are always wanting to get bigger together and everything like that. I never really had that. I went and joined boys sometimes for a workout. But, it's just a constant thing at Riot that we're getting around each other all the time to improve our physiques and everything like that. And literally the best shape I've been in my life.
Yeah, a real camaraderie, not just between you and obviously your partner that you work with and that sort of stuff, but throughout obviously the whole roster is awesome. It just shows that everyone's all together really looking to do the same thing.
And us guys who take that stuff more seriously, we're always trying to encourage the guys that want help with their physiques and stuff to come work out with us. And, because you mold bodies, and all of a sudden you've got a roster stacked with jacked bodies guys and athletes and everything like that.
And a lot of people on the same kind of, they're on different, I guess, shape levels, but on the same level when it comes to their training.
It improves the roster, it improves the quality of the company, everything.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome, man. It sounds like a really bloody awesome place to be.
It's a great atmosphere, great environment there. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I don't know about you, but I always loved when wrestlers talked inside about wrestling stuff. It always just made me really want to pay attention and really just want to hear everything they said. Behind beyond the ring and that sort of stuff, or any documentary.
We're kind of at that point now in life where no one's we're not kayfabing anymore. If you don't know what kayfabe is, just look that up. But, we are performers, and we have who we are in the ring, and then we are who are outside of the ring. And,
absolutely.
It's not really a hiding thing anymore. It's 100% serious to us, and it's real.
Absolutely. It fucking hurts. It's real. It really hurts. Well, thank you so much for joining me, H. It's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode with myself and Hjálmar. We hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to like and subscribe to our socials. There's a new podcast every week, so please do keep an eye out for the next one, and we'll see you then.